This is First Contact, Stories of the Call Center.
But let's go back to the other side of it, the buyer side, right? The customer side of it, for those who aren't being sold anything, but are experiencing an interaction in their journey with that brand, right? Has that changed on their expectations and their perspective on how sales needs to meet them where they want to be met? Or is it what you've always done is still going to work because it's a tried and true process?
No, classic old school features and benefits, facts, figures. I'm going to tell you how amazing I am right out of the gate and why we're awesome, and the brands and the logos and the social proof and the testimonials right out of the gate. All that classic high pressure, all about me, just doesn't work. It's so gross. It's so ineffective. It might work at some level, right? Obviously, there's some people who will buy from that no matter what. Maybe they already knew what they wanted, or maybe they just don't care, but it just doesn't work. Here's the big reason why. That model is built on organizations and salespeople having all the knowledge and information, having all the power. Think about car buying. Think about car buying, let's say 20 years ago, right? Early internet, people didn't have the research on cars. If you wanted to go buy a car, you had to go to a dealership. If you wanted to know what the price is, you have to ask the salesperson because you had no comparison. If you wanted to price shop, you had to drive up and down the road or state to state to get information to then make a decision. Now you don't have to. I don't have it because I'm on this recording with you, but within arm's reach of everybody, like 24/7, even while they're sleeping, is all the world's information. Access to all of it. Like literally, if you want to answer a question, you just go on your phone and answer it right away. So consumers don't need knowledge and information. They're not calling your company or listening to your outbound call because they need information, because they need data. What they need is wisdom. And wisdom is the application of knowledge and information specifically for that individual. They want to know, I've got this challenge or I have this goal. Don't tell me about what your thing does. Tell me about what that's going to do for me, and A, how my life is going to be better, and B, how this is the safest choice so that I don't make a mistake, which goes back to our evolutionary biology where as a species, we've dominated this planet because we stick in our comfort zones and we choose the safest route and stick together as a group. And it takes a lot for us to do different things because different things are risky. Your prospects, the buyers, all of us, again, we don't need knowledge and information. If they just needed knowledge and information, they would have ordered it online. But the fact that they're talking to another human means they need a guide.
Yeah, I think it's really important to make a differentiation between someone making a purchase because they got sold, and then afterwards they don't buy from you anymore, they don't use the product, especially in the world that's moving towards recurring revenue. You're justifying your existence every single day. It's not like, well, you bought it and hopefully someday you keep doing business with us because we're the best in the space or we're proprietary or whatever. And the other side of it being, if you're using the wisdom, right, you're not just throwing facts and hopefully bombarding somebody and convincing them that this is a good decision just because you think it's a good decision. Ultimately, if it is the right decision for them, they'll see so much value after that interaction and ongoing, hopefully if it's a recurring revenue model, that journey they'll take with you, they'll take it gladly. Just like when they have a great experience at a theme park, right? It's a memorable, continuous thing. They're like, I want to invest in this because the outcome for me is worth it. And that's that key piece you're talking about, right? Where that wisdom is that change. So how does a contact center, though, get wisdom in every single agent that takes their call? And then if you do have wisdom, how do you even cross-pollinate that? Or do you just let it live in silos and hopefully that's who gets the call? Leverage technology and only the good people get the calls.
Well, that is one solution. And I've built those solutions before with the help of some smart tech people where it's literally get the right calls to the right people on the team and prioritize them accordingly. Here's the key is that it sounds really complicated. How do I get my agents to do this thing and use wisdom and then be a sales professional, not an order taker, all the stuff we talked about? I literally perfected this with $10 an hour agents. I've done this in the US, offshore, inside sales, like first party, third party, short sales cycle, long sales cycle. The key is building a framework and having that available for the agents so they know those steps. Like we talked about earlier with the scripting and a process where you've got to uncover what the person wants. You have to be able to answer one specific question, which is what I train teams on and we build processes around. Once you have that one piece of information, then you have to be able to apply that to what you sell, and then you have to move forward. And I truly believe, because again, I've seen it before with hundreds and hundreds of agents, again, across all different pay brackets. We're not just talking six-figure sales rock stars. I'm talking everybody, where you can do it once they understand the fundamentals and what their role is instead of what they think sales means.